Joining us now is OjyOkpe with stories trending around the world. Good morning.
Long morning, Dr. Abati, is it? Good morning. How are you this morning?
I'm good.
Fantastic. Good morning. You're looking
morning,
ravishing. How are you this morning? Perfect. Rufy on fire.
Okay, ravishing.
Thank you. I had to match your blue tie.
Blue,
well, all right.
Blue. When is there two
Just
blues?
one color.
When there are two blues, I think it's by la blue. Two blues. Blue.
Stop
Bala
shaking
blue.
the table.
Okay.
Well, all right. Well, good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending now in the United States, where President Donald Trump's proposal for the U.S. to take over the administration of the Gaza Strip, with plans suggesting permanent resettlement of Palestinians, has sparked a wave of criticism. Trump made the proposal during a press conference with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu at the White House. The U.S. president suggested that Palestinians resettle elsewhere after the devastating war, while the U.S. redevelops Gaza into a high-quality area.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years. I'm hopeful that this ceasefire could be the beginning of a larger and more enduring peace that will end the bloodshed and killing once and for all. With the same goal in mind, my administration has been moving quickly to restore trust in the alliance and rebuild American strength throughout the region. And we've really done that. We're a respected nation again. A lot's happened in the last couple of weeks. We are actually a very respected nation again.
Unbelievable. Guys, this announcement has sparked significant international concern regarding sovereignty, displacement, and the legal implications of such actions. Let me take some tweets, and I also would like to take some comments from our YouTube viewers, our amazing YouTube viewers. I got, my producer telling me that we have a lot of Trump supporters online. So I encourage our viewers to, write a comment, and I'll read it out to see if there's some sort of justification to this action, which has been termed as genocide, really. Well, let me take Dean's comment, who wrote, "The President of the United States of America just called for ethnic cleansing, regardless of your political affiliation. This is indefensible." Well, Nina Turner wrote, "It was always a genocide. It was always ethnic cleansing. It was always an occupation, all paid for by our tax dollars. Our government is complicit." Rufai, we know that also there are comments from Saudi Arabia as well, but I'd like your comment before I take another tweet and maybe read something from our YouTube viewers, really.
No, but we always use ethnic cleansing,
Yeah.
pure and simple. And the American government has perpetrated these heinous crimes over the years. And the blood is on the American government. Because Trump keeps saying Gaza is devastated as bomb. Which bomb did they use to bomb Gaza? Was it an American bomb? Who gave Israel most of the money to decimate Gaza? Who started this level of unfairness? Was it not the Americans and the British that started all of this madness when they had a Balfour Declaration? What happened in the end? What happened to the occupation? What happened to 1948? What happened to the Yom Kippur Wars? Was it not America's support all this while? What happened, the prowess of the likes of Moshe Dayan? Wasn't it the Americans that were pumping them with money? Wasn't it the American deep state that helped them build all of this?
Yeah.
So Trump now saying this, that they have destroyed and now they want to chase those people off their land. It's American manipulation, and it will be on record, the blood of Americans' hands in this century, just like they also want to do with South Africa. So the question is, in Trump's expansionist theory, who is going to be next? Because we don't know if the world is safe. At first it was Greenland, then Panama, now then Gaza Riviera, then South Africa. Who is going to be next? Probably Nigeria, Uganda, Equatorial Guinea. He wants to take over the world. And guess what this reminds me of? Adolf Hitler. That was how Hitler started. Hitler first started with Sudetenland. He said, oh, give me Sudetenland, I wouldn't cry any longer. Guess what? Neville Chamberlain said, let's give him everything to make peace. But Hitler went further from Sudetenland. He occupied Poland. Then he started. Then he said, let's go to parts of Africa. Then he talked about Operation Barbarossa. And Hitler continued, kept on occupying, until the Allied forces pushed him back at the beach of Normandy. And they said, enough of all of this. And guess what? He had allies that did it with him, the likes of Benito Mussolini.
All right.
So we will not forget history. Like I said before, it is either Trump starts the Third World War or he makes the conditions rife for the Third World War.
Yeah, it does appear like some sort of a takeover. I mean, this is not the only conversation we've heard from Trump. But let me take Lindy Bachi's tweet. She wrote, because he's always talking about making America great, the only way this plan can be called America First is if Gaza and surrounding areas, to accommodate all the Palestinians, is made the 51st state. Then they have a safe and permanent home where they have lived since the time of Jesus, and the Israeli people have a good neighbor. I mean, I thought that tweet was actually, quite commendable. I'm still trying to find some comments from our amazing YouTube viewers and some of their, comments. I mean, I'm seeing people saying, Trump, go after them. I don't even know what that means at this point. But we know that the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia has issued an official statement through its foreign ministry, reaffirming its unwavering support for the establishment of an independent Palestinian state. The statement is in direct response to President Trump's proposal to take over and economically develop the Gaza Strip. Dr. Bati, comment from you while I read to see if there are any other comments.
I said before that Trump is a real estate developer or a former real estate developer. Hence this interest in land grabbing in Gaza. Second, this is a project of ethnic cleansing. Third, this is against the two-state solution that has been proposed by countries like Saudi Arabia and other countries. Even the United States, under Biden, didn't oppose the two-state solution that has been on the table since the year 2000. It's only Israel and Iran that is opposed to the two-state solution. Now, you mentioned Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia, yes, has objected to this plan to further demolish the demolition site in Gaza. Trump thinking that he has common sense. He says, after all, it's a demolition site. We'll send American soldiers there if necessary to go and clean up the place, and we'll relocate the Palestinians. Now, Saudi Arabia says, no, they're not going to take in, the Palestinians. Also, Egypt and Jordan, which as part of the hostage agreement release for ceasefire deal, had been asked to take in the people of Gaza. Those two countries have also said no. So the implication of what Saudi Arabia is saying, what Jordan is saying, what Egypt is saying, is that Trump's proposal is going to have implications for the relationship between Israel and the Arab Gulf states. So he's saying, oh, this will promote peace in the Middle East. It's completely delusional. It's very wrong. It's not going to promote peace. Now, he says when Gaza is turned to a beautiful place, even Palestinians can live there. Well, Palestinians are saying that this will be a repeat of Nakba, the catastrophe of 1948, with the creation of the State of Israel, which they have never accepted till today. And they say it's their homeland, and they are not going to leave that, Greater Palestine region. So it's an emotional thing for the people living in that Gaza Strip and Palestinians generally. Right. Now, Trump, I said, may be playing a game, what is called the art of the deal, thinking that if he pushes the envelope to the extreme, then people will be forced to negotiate with him, as you have seen in the example of Mexico and Canada. And as we hope, or he hopes, he will see with the example of the EU and also China. Finally, Netanyahu is happy, obviously happy, because he's been having problems back home with the hardliners, with the far right in Israel. Persons who do not believe Israel can exist with any state called Palestine within that territory. But will they be able to get this through? I think the international community, should be again anxious about this land grabber, this, disruptor of the global order called Donald Trump, who wants to disrupt everything from North America to EU. He has gone to South Africa.
Yeah.
One man, turning American foreign policy process on his head and claiming that it's America first.
Right.
Obviously, he has more ambitions beyond making America or placing America first in the international order.
Well, after that press conference, there was another in the White House where a journalist asked him again, and he reiterated that how can the Palestinians not want to leave? How can they, continue to stay, because it's going to happen all over and all over again? Let's take a comment, I believe, from someone called Emmanuel Akego on our YouTube live stream. And the person wrote, Trump is correct. You cannot continue one thing over and over again without, I guess, resolve, not change the style and pattern. This is what Trump is suggesting. God bless Trump. What do you make of that actual comment?
Well, I mean, like you mentioned, there will always be two sides of the divide. There are some people who are firmly in support of Trump.
Yes.
And Trump's agenda, especially people who feel that other nations should emulate Trump in his America First agenda. And then, of course, when we talk about the Israel-Palestinian fight or crisis for decades and decades, it's also been very contentious. What currently subsists is a two-state solution. So Trump, again, has come in with almost like a one stick to respond to many of the world issues, has just come out with this comment that has largely been termed as insensitive, especially to the people who feel not just a right to the land, but has been said an emotional connection. This is what they fought for. Some of their ancestors have died here. And to just think that a quick comment around, let's make it better for you, you'd rather live somewhere else. I think it's a bit presumptuous, not a bit, it's very presumptuous of him. And say what you may, it is overreaching. But let's see what would happen in the end. As you mentioned, you saw the Israeli Prime Minister looking quite pleased with himself with this Trump announcement. And of course, they've been allies even before he won the election. I don't think the Palestinians would take this line.
Yeah,
let's see how Trump is going to achieve this particular announcement with regards to Gaza takeover.
All right, let me take another comment from our YouTube viewer. This person is Marshall Ogun. He wrote, it's worth nothing that any attempt by the United States to take over Gaza will be a highly complex and contentious issue involving geopolitical, diplomatic, and humanitarian considerations. Well, thank you guys for sharing your views on this topic. We will follow up on it because it is quite a very, very sensitive and topical issue. Well, let's now take the latest development on the story of the Nigerian woman, Gloria Omishore, a traveler on Kenya Airways who was denied boarding for not having a Schengen visa to her destination, which led to an altercation between the traveler and a Kenyan Airways staff. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority had directed the airline to tender a public apology and compensation for the unruly behavior of its staff towards the traveler. In a post on X, Michael Achimugu, Director for Consumer Protection and Public Affairs of the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority, detailed the result of the meeting held on Tuesday with the acting station manager of Kenyan Airways, saying that the airline had also apologized for its faulty statement, which did not reflect the true events of the situation. He further directed that, I'll read a part of his tweet. He wrote on X, the NCAA Consumer Protection Department thereby determined as follows. A, Kenyan Airways renders a public apology to passengers and the NCAA. B, the airline issued an updated official statement that reflects the true events that happened in Nairobi. Ms. Gloria did not refuse to fly to London, as claimed in that statement. The airline failed to admit that they permitted the passenger to purchase that ticket and that they failed to spot the problem from Lagos. The statement also fails to inform the general public that the lady only became angry when she was asked to wait another 10 hours without accommodation and care. The authority finds this very confusing and unacceptable. C, that the airline will refund and compensate the passenger for the avoidable humiliation she has suffered and the threats to her job. This is quite commendable by the NCAA. Consumer protection, we are seeing this. I am actually quite proud of this development. Yes. Yeah, on his part, the Kenyan Airways country manager expressed disappointment about the unruly Kenyan Airways staff who insulted the office of the president of Nigeria while insinuating that the airline could do anything to Nigerians and nothing will happen. Accountability, accountability. I love the response to this story, and I'm quite glad that, you know, they are going to apologize, hopefully compensate this woman. This is not a way to treat your passengers. This is really, really a great development. A quick comment again from you, Ayo, before I go, because I know that you were Director
of Consumer Protection and Public Affairs is doing an excellent job. Yeah. He had said that he had summoned the officials from Kenya Airways, and this was the explanation they gave. Yeah. They've asked for 72 hours. He's giving them 48 hours to investigate and come out. But they have admitted, at least at this meeting, that they misinformed the public with regards to their statement, and also that the mistake was from them. So they didn't do their due diligence. And just to put the context right, the lady had waited for 17 hours layover, and they were asking her to wait for a further 10 hours for that flight to London. So it wasn't just that they offered her and she totally refused. And then she had talked about her personal condition. This is what happens when a country stands for its people.
Absolutely.
For so long, we've been taken advantage of, especially we talked about, you know, how Nigerians have faced hellish, you know, experiences using foreign airline operators, especially, you know, in Africa. So to see people stand up for us, stand up for consumers' rights is fantastic. Yes. I hope this is a new way for Nigerians. Put Nigeria first.
Absolutely.
Nigeria.
Put Nigeria first. I love that comment. That was amazing. Kudos to the NCAA. We will definitely follow up on the story. Well, let's take another story now. The Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Ali Pate, has stirred a debate online after stating that patients from the United Kingdom and the United States and the West African sub-region have been flocking to Nigeria for quality medical care. Pate spoke on Tuesday while briefing State House correspondents at the end of the Federal Executive Council meeting presided by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Let's take a look before we take some reactions.
You can see that gradually, piece by piece, we're rebuilding our health infrastructure, both in the front end, but also at the higher level in the teaching hospitals. And we know that important things are happening. People are now beginning from the region to come to Nigeria and receive quality health care. This is already happening, including people from faraway places like the United Kingdom and United States. So despite what we may want to believe about Nigeria's healthcare system, there are good things happening. The transformation that the President promised is beginning to happen. We need to sustain it. And we're investing and will continue to invest in that direction.
Let's take this tweet from Onwaha Rufai before I come to you. Onwaha wrote, "How can it be true when the hospitals cannot pay electricity fees? The only other indices is to wait and see Nigerian political office holders and their families queuing to use these facilities, because how can hospitals be attracting foreigners and not locals?"
No, but with due respect, that is correct.
Right?
That is correct, actually. People are queuing from the UK and everything, but they are not coming to government hospitals. That's the part he didn't get. They are coming to hospitals established by international hospital chains in highbrow areas all over Nigeria to get their quality health care. So that's what is happening. Those hospitals are out of the reach of people like, you know, just ordinary Nigerians that cannot afford this level of care. There's a particular hospital I know of in VI that most of their clientele, it's a neurosurgery center just opened up on the island, that most of their clientele are really people on the waiting list from the NHS and other parts of the world. And they come there to get health care. And I have seen this happen. But the way Pate is saying it is as if they're coming to your general hospital. No, it's not your general hospital as such they're coming to. It is those high-end hospitals. But the challenge is, how can we make them come to our general hospitals like they used to do in the 70s, that the Saudi royal family used to come to UCH in Ibadan? UCH in Ibadan then used to be about the 5th best in the Commonwealth. In fact, the other day, a doctor from Dorchester was here and was saying that people used to leave Canada to come give birth in UCH in Ibadan then. But today, what's the case with UCH in Ibadan? There's no power. There's a protest about not having power and all of that. So, and Party also recently talked about the fact that for capital project in the last budget cycle, out of the over 200 billion in marked for capital project, the only got over 23 billion. So they are coming, Oji, but they're not coming to government hospitals. They're not coming to government hospitals. They are coming to high-end boutique hospitals that are set up and that the infrastructure, is set up by people where it's highly commercial. And the average Nigerian might not be able to pay for services in those hospitals.
All right.
So also taking advantage of the dollar, of the fact that because it's cheaper healthcare.
It's cheaper healthcare.
NHS, there's a long waiting list. And they're going to go private, they're going to pay a lot.
Right.
So these hospitals, some of these doctors flying in from the NHS, from American hospitals, and come and set up here and provide cheaper services. So they're actually taking advantage of us. But I think it's also important to highlight the fact that let us put a balance to the fact that people are complaining that there's a brain drain in the health sector. So Nigerians are not enjoying the services of the medical sector, even though people are coming to take advantage of our cheaper healthcare and qualified doctors who fly from abroad for this purpose. So I think you shouldn't just say that.
Well, his main point is that healthcare has improved in Nigeria.
Public healthcare has not improved. Public healthcare is still terrible. It's just those private people that are making those investments and they're cashing out now. So it's not public healthcare.
Well, in Sokoto State, the Usmanu Danfodio University Teaching Hospital has successfully conducted its first kidney transplant at the Tech Fund Center of Excellence in Urology and Nephrology. The Director of Research and Development at the Tech Fund Center praised the achievement, stating that the university had emerged as the best performing among the 27 Tech Fund Centers of Excellence nationwide. Dr. Abati, please, I'd love for you to tie in both stories.
Okay, one, in the UK, if persons are leaving the UK to come seek medical treatment, not just in Nigeria, maybe in other countries as well, like South Africa, it is in part because the NHS is in big trouble. West Streeting, the head secretary in the UK, has just proposed a plan to reform the NHS. Part of the plan is to create emergency hubs, to create a new framework for A&E, emergency treatment and all of that, and to reduce, the queue. So with a long queue in the UK, many of these Nigerians or foreigners abroad will look for other places where they can get treatment. And so you could have that traffic coming to Nigeria. But I agree that it's not to the public hospitals. Many of the public hospitals built by these governors, we've seen in this country, public hospitals built without facilities. They'll just give the construction project to their friends. They will build this beautiful thing, launch it with fanfare, but it doesn't work. The other side of the story, however, is that the feat that has been achieved in youth or the people coming to Nigeria, the truth is that there are many specialists in Nigeria. In fact, Nigeria has trained some of the best doctors in the world. That's why many of our doctors easily get jobs, either in the UK system or in the US system. I've had stories from more than 2-3 persons who will go to the US, they are going to meet a specialist. Or they'll go to UK, they will say they are going to meet a specialist. Only to be told that the best specialist in that field is in Nigeria, or is a Nigerian within that system. So if you find some of those specialists abroad coming home to come and set up operations here, it's not impossible that these referrals will go in their direction to say, look, the best man in this particular area is in Nigeria. And then they come there. The thing is to create a vibrant, functioning, efficient public health sector, and also to make sure that these are talented scientists, governors, doctors, researchers are given the best conditions, opportunities to thrive within the Nigerian environment, which is not the case at this moment. About the University of Usman Danfodio, where this kidney transplant has taken place, where it took place at the Tech Fund Center for Excellence. Now, Tech Fund was created, to develop infrastructure, support these universities. in the medical field, we understand they have 27 centers of excellence. So again, this is a justification of the importance of, an agency like TETFund. And that is why people were nervous when there was some talk about removing money meant for TETFund and some other agencies, to some other areas in the tax reform bill, because of the example of this kind of achievement under the, impact within the scope of TETFund.
Absolutely. Kudos, really. At this point, I think we'll head over to Ogun State now. With this video that has been shredding your state. How can I do? Every time I see your state, I'm like, Ginger, now what's happening? Rufai, Dr. Abati, let's head over to your state. Well, in Ogun State, Governor Dakwa Abiodun has placed Oba Ogunjobi, the relay of Orile 4, local government area of the state, on a 6-month suspension for assaulting a 73-year-old Chief Ariola Abraham Love. The chief was seen in a now viral video kneeling while Oba Ogunjobi, who said that he's a retired police officer and in control of the Nigerian police, rained curses on him, while Oba Ogunjobi also stated in the video that he could send the chief to jail and nothing would happen. Unbelievable. Let's take a look at this video before we come back for a discussion. This was horrible. Rufai, Dr. Abati, I'm asking both of you the question, but the police has also reacted. Let me take Olumuyiwa Adejobi's tweet. He wrote, Ogun public assault. The Kabiyesi Ogunjobi, who assaulted one elderly man in a viral video in Ifo, Ogun State, has been charged to court today, February 4th, 2025, on a 3-count charge of conspiracy, assault, and conduct likely. He was granted bail while the case was adjourned to March 6, 2025. The police will continue to uphold the rule of law and the core values of the noble profession. All right. Rufy on fire, what happened to your people here? No,
that's a very sad one, very unrepresentative of a way a king should conduct himself. Yes. I mean, even if you had any back and forth or you had any grouse with a man, you don't humiliate somebody like that. And I'm happy that the rule of law has taken its course.
Yes.
I'm happy that people have stepped in. I'm happy that they're not looking at the case, so that we can get to the end of this matter. The case is already in court, we can't say much, but you have no right to assault somebody. You say you have the entire police. All this one, I just brag, forget it. So he has the entire police. Why can't he stop them from taking it to court now? They're not taking his bail.
Yeah.
But I'm happy that the Ogun State governor has reacted to this. No, because you're a king, you must not assault people.
Absolutely.
I mean, assaulting a man older than you.
This was horrific.
Because you're a king.
Dr. Abati, this king, he was apprehended, I guess, also been suspended at this point, and, he's going to go to court on March 6th because of this. Okay. He was bragging, really bragging.
Okay. The first principle is that nobody is above the laws of the land, not even traditional rulers.
Yes.
In this same country, traditional rulers have been jailed before if they commit an offense under the law. So there is equality under the laws of Nigeria. So being a traditional ruler does not give whoever is occupying a particular stool excessive powers to brutalize and embarrass other citizens. That's number one. Number two, the Ogun State government has acted rightly by sending him on suspension. Well, you know that there is a Ministry of Chieftaincy Affairs which is the direct employer of traditional rulers in various parts of Nigeria. And that is why even a traditional ruler under the post-colonial dispensation can even be queried by the governor who gives him the staff of office. The third leg of it is that the Olorile of Orile Ifo was boasting in that video that he's a retired police officer. I understand that he retired as a sergeant. So the habits of
not commissioner.
As a sergeant.
So they said not commissioner of police, but the sergeant actually owned the entire police.
Well, and even his wife, is also a retired I think sergeant or corporal. So he has brought the attitude of the police to the stool that he occupies. And I think the police force, Olumiwa Adejobi, spokesperson, has come forward to say, well, the man will be charged to court because he's not a good ambassador of the Nigerian police force. He's giving the impression that even when these policemen retire and move on to other things, the thing that is in their blood does not leave them. And it is important for the Nigerian police force to say, no, he's not representing us. Look at what he was saying. He was saying, look, if I kill you, nothing will happen. Nothing will happen to you. I'm a retired police officer. And that's how these policemen, how they talk. It should also be reminded that the criminal code does not allow unlawful trial by ordeal, section 208, because that's what he was doing there. And under section 252 and section 352, you are not allowed to assault people, whether you are an on-air personality or a retired sergeant who has now become a traditional ruler.
All right.
As to the details, the law should take its course.
Absolutely. Well said, Dr. Abati. Now let's take our next story under entertainment. TV host and actress Whoopi Goldberg has defended Grammy Award winner Beyoncé, who made history as the first black woman to win Best Country Album for Cowboy Carter at the 67th Grammy Awards. Her win has generated a wave of criticism, including from conservative commentator Raymond Arroyo, who had compared her to artists like Frank Sinatra and Dolly Parton. Goldberg on The View dismissed his claims as unfair, emphasizing that her award were earned through legitimate industry voting.
Are you aware that you have to be in the music industry to be a Grammy voter? So the cat sitter cannot just vote. Let's start with that. Are you aware that when the Grammys began in 1959, there were only 28 categories. Now there are 94. And the year that Frank Sinatra got 6 nominations, despite having 2 #1 albums, he only won 1 Grammy that night for his album cover. Not even for his singing, for the album cover. Listen, man, you can't do that. She earned it. The thing you have, you wanna hold on to country music like white people didn't also buy her country album? Come on, man.
Absolutely. Whoopi Goldberg on flick. Absolutely on point.
Cowboy Carter.
Yes.
The next best country album this year is by a Nigerian called Chibueze, who they call Chabuzi, a bar song. That's one of the greatest country songs. So if they keep thinking that black people can't sing country music, let their racism continue to dilute them.
Beyoncé has proven the point. I mean, all these conservatives, they need to rest.
Honestly.
She earned it and she won the Grammy, her first album of the year. Well, congratulations to Beyoncé Knowles. I'd love to thank you all for your great analysis, as always, on What's Trending. Well, that's all I have for you guys on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.